Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1339, July 10th, 2024. 106 degrees on this day in 1936. More on that in a moment. 49 degrees on this day in two occasions, 1945 and 1996. The swimming season is at full throttle, but there's still time to get a hold of Aquacide to get rid of the weeds and algae that are bothering the swimmers. Aquacide products are easy to use and they work quickly, and they're registered with the EPA and DNR. There's no need to let weeds overtake your lake or pond this summer. Call Aquacide today. Walk down to the beach and call them and tell them what you're looking at. They'll help you identify that weed problem and make sure your place looks great all summer long. Call Aquacide at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquacide.com.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
In certainly what must have been an anomaly, it was hot in the 30s. I know that's unusual, but it was very hot in the 30s. In fact, the record for this day around this neck of the woods, July 10th, 1936, was 106. So I called John this morning because he's got this wonderful old newspaper resource he cites. And I said, John, see what they were saying back then in 1936. And what have you found, sir?
Well, I went to July 10th, actually, to start with, to see what the forecast would say.
Right.
And there was just a small box on the front page said it's going to be hot. Okay.
Did they blame it on anybody?
They didn't blame it on anybody or anything, oddly enough. Then I went to July 11th. There was a big headline in the front page that says break in heat seen, and then there's a story on the heat. And interestingly enough, on the bottom of the front page, and this was kind of cool, there was pictures of folks laying at Lake Calhoun and Lake Harriet, and the pictures were from midnight. Because
people slept outside during the 30s.
Yep, and
I think it would be unsafe to do that today.
Yeah, it said the beaches were as crowded at midnight as they were normally during the daytime. That's how hot it was. Then it did turn kind of ugly, though. Apparently, it didn't cool off because on Monday, July 13th, the front page was covered with weather news because over 100 persons died in the Twin Cities from excessive heat.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, but there was no blame assessed, obviously, for the heat. People were dying, unfortunately.
What we're seeing then is the heat was reported as news.
Correct. Yes.
It's upon us. We see a break in it. 100 people died. People rolled with nature. However unfortunate it would have been for the 100 people. But that was all reported as news. Yeah. It wasn't reported with hysteria and admonishment.
Not at all. And when you turn the page on the July 13th one, I suppose to put a little levity into the situation, they had a story on page 2 about a fella. He's apparently was a prominent Minneapolis person who went to the dentist, and his dentist told him his gold filling melted because of the heat. Apparently that was supposed to inject.
Really? What levity. Paper was this? Was this the Tribune?
That was the Minneapolis Star.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Googling that. Gold melts at what temperature?
I don't, let's not get hung up on that.
1,948 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's hot.
Yeah.
So the dentist
was that hot?
Dentist was just making up, I think, for putting in a bad filling, probably was the...
I just thought of something that essentially...
exactly.
I just thought of something that's essentially meaningless, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Let's go.
In 1936, just to pick that year, there were percentage-wise, I hate using the term wise, let me rephrase it. There were far fewer automobiles than today, obviously. In fact, I'm sure the comparison would be outlandish, but that none of them had emissions controls. compared to today. So I found myself with this idle thought, wondering if today's cars, however so plentiful, produce more or less emissions than the cars of the 1930s.
Way less.
And same with smokestacks and plants and factories and what have you. We didn't catch on till the cleaning up that Environmental Act, which I would be all for. It took Nixon to do that, by the way.
No thanks to Brandon Johnson.
No. And I just bet you, I mean, it would be a tough statistic to analyze, and it wouldn't result in anything important, but I bet you the cars of the 30s emitted. It's stupid. There's so many more cars.
There was no EVs or Cybertrucks in the 30s.
No, can I finish the EV news and get that out of the way?
Where you not?
Where were you going? Nowhere. I was going two places. One, the what would have been a very significant heat wave was treated as the news it was. It wasn't treated as a forecast of doom. It wasn't treated as all you terrible humans, we're elites telling you that you're ruining the earth. That's not how it was reported. It was reported as news. And the other thought about the emissions was just me on the service road of life having an idle thought.
Well, they were spewing a lot more.
They spewed.
Right.
Today, unfortunately, the reporting uses the word spewed, which is just lazy reporting.
Right. Which the technological advances from the 30s to now,
they're just
goodness.
Unfathomable. Unfathomable.
Yeah.
Well,
have you ever seen Jay Leno run one of those 12-cylinder cars?
Yeah.
You can't be within 100 yards of it. It's so loud. The exhaust comes right out of the cylinder.
Well, I hate to bring it up again, but if you go to my airplane app and you look at the planes in the air, it is an extraordinary. Thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe millions.
And they have straight exhaust if they're gasoline engines.
But you buy carbon to offset your...
But you can plant a tree.
Right.
Now, just to get the EVs out of the way, I think Jordy alerted me to this. Electric vehicle batteries are a new source of forever chemical pollution. Forever chemicals are PFAS chemicals. What is the name of that? P for something. Hell, aren't we digging up half of Woodbury and Lake Elmo because 3M dumped some sandpaper in 1892 and it's got the chemical? No, I know it was some other kind of. But we're very worried about forever chemicals, and these lithium-ion batteries are unfortunately, a big source of these hazardous chemicals. Some lithium-ion battery technologies use a class of PFAS chemicals or per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances that make batteries less flammable and conduct electricity. Scientists have found high levels of these forever chemicals in air, water, snow, soil, and sediment samples near plants that make those chemicals in the U.S., Belgium, and France, according to a peer-reviewed study in the journal Nature Communications. Okay, keep driving your...
PFAS chemicals are characterized by a carbon fluorine backbone, the FC in forever chemicals, and the carbon fluorine bond is one of the strongest bonds in organic chemistry, which gives these chemicals an extremely long environmental half-life.
But Joe read the name polyfluoroalkyl.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's in
With the environmental and health impacts of mining lithium and other minerals used in batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, and other technology are well documented. This is new. It's only now the researchers are uncovering lithium-ion batteries as a source of forever chemicals. Okay. I personally don't want an electric car. I guess I can't complain if you have one. I saw a...
I'm glad you're bringing this up because I was going to ask you.
I saw a Cybertruck yesterday.
What'd you think?
I actually went to the Twitter and tweeted something. I don't know why. I guess I did. Some cars are so ugly, they're cool. I can think of a couple. A Nash Rambler station wagon from the 50s looks like just something the cat dragged in, but it's so bad. It's so cool.
I love Edsel's. They're so icky. Yeah.
This thing is not cool. It's just ugly. It can't cross the line from ugliness to cool because it's so bad.
Yeah.
It looks like a DeLorean has been hitting the steroids.
Yes, it's just slabs of aluminum.
Yeah, there's no curves.
With different angles of slabs.
I was passed by one and my kid goes, Dad, is that a tank?
Yes, it is, son. Yes.
Now they're catching on and people are buying them.
I've seen more on the streets.
What in God's name
You're preparing for the apocalypse.
Well, what is the attraction?
I don't
to be
know.
different, to be noticed.
I guess.
Is it the same thing as the Hummer craze years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Hummers are a sleek Ferrari compared to this thing.
Yeah.
But people are buying them and then beating the crap out of them to show how tough they are. You're scuffing up your car.
You can do that with a Hyundai.
Well, okay.
You know.
What's the price of that? What do they cost, Matthew?
Oh, God, I bet they're expensive.
I thought it was $150. I'll look.
You know, this is what the Kardashians would drive.
Right.
You know, because it would guarantee them another photo in the paper. No reasonable. If a GLer owns a Cybertruck, I'd be surprised.
A 2023.
Unless they're doing it because they find it so novel. I mean, that has to be the reason people are buying them. I remember, I've told you this story before. In 1960, my old man and most of his buddies bought Volkswagen Beetles just because they were weird. There was no other reason.
Right.
Gas was 12 cents a gallon. What do they care?
You got the red one, huh?
Yeah, I know. My old man had a white one.
Do you like people noticing you and making note of you when you're on the road, waving, giving you the thumbs up, the okay? Are you down with that?
It depends what I'm driving.
So actually you are then, because you have a couple of notable vehicles. So when people show love to you, you give them the thumbs up back. You like that?
Yes, absolutely. And I make sure I give thumbs up if I see something that I think is neat. And
So
I lament how infrequent that is. In other words, I could be driving a Triumph down the road and it's very likely I'll never get a thumbs up because A, people are don't see it, or B, they don't know what, they don't care.
Well, it's tough to notice in a car when you're texting too.
You're in a go-kart. No, you can't see us up there in our normal vehicles.
Yeah, but I
got real sick of it when I was driving that 65 Impala. And I got to the point where somebody would give me the thumbs up and I'd give them the finger. You know, mind your own business, jerk.
Originally priced at having a $40,000 base price, the rear drive Cybertruck starts at $61,000. The mid-level all-wheel drive version starts at $80,000, and the mighty Cyber Beast lists at $100,000.
That's just stupid.
Wow.
And Tesla says the rear and all-wheel drive versions will be eligible for the $7,500 federal tax credit.
I don't want to pay for you to get one of those.
I agree.
It's too ugly.
Rook, when you would cruise down, let's say 35E, and people were waving at you, was it because the car was leaking oil, or was it because there was a flame?
Fire.
Yeah.
It was on
Flame
fire.
shooting out of it.
Chris, you saying it's stupid, that's just your opinion. It's stupid.
That's
for
true.
You.
It's stupid
you
for
don't
me.
like it. Yeah, but
You're right.
live and let live as far as what people drive.
That's true.
No, live and let live, but I'm not going to back off of the comment that they're stupid. They are stupid.
Well,
and they're
for
ugly.
you,
They're
for
so
you, they're
ugly
stupid.
they can't be cool.
What
No,
if the guy
maybe I'm phrasing that wrong. Maybe they're not ugly enough to become cool.
They're not, yeah, that's better. But you're reminding me of the old Top Gear show. They had 3 boards, not cool, cool, ice cold. It was so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this would definitely go in the
This is
not
ice cold.
cool.
Oh, it's ice
To me,
cold.
No, ice cold is good.
Oh, well,
Not
then this
cool.
is not cool.
Not cool. Yeah. But they were putting cars like Lambos and Porsche, Boxster. You know what they called the Boxster, right?
I don't.
The Cockster.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. I would never own another one. I've told you that story. We're not going through that again. Noah might be listening. Out at schoolovers.
Hi, Noah. How you doing, buddy?
God, I'm still so shamed by that. Oh, that piece of crap blew up on the kid. Oh, my God. Let's turn our attention back to the world that we're monitoring and fearing for its fate. And I want to turn to the president of the National Education Association. Her name is Becky Pringle.
Yes.
And she had quite the rant. I'm not even sure I can understand what she was ranting about, but she was likened to a character from The Office named Dwight Schrute.
Yes.
Who apparently in an episode of The Office had a bellowing rant.
He had an impromptu speech. He was filling in, and he had an epic
For the boss.
Correct.
Yeah. The only Office show I'm familiar with was the Gervais one.
Ricky Gervais,
Sure.
the British version,
The British version, which I thought was
funnier.
splendid. I haven't bothered to watch the
American one's pretty
Yeah.
good. Too.
Anyway, here is your National Education Association, Debbie Pringle.
Becky.
I'm sorry, Becky Pringle.
Yes.
Who we are. We are the ones who helped to shape the heart of this nation's hopes and dreams. We are the ones who hold steadfast to the belief of the plausibility of the possible. We are the heirs of all who did this work before us. We must keep going. NEA delegates, we can do this work. We must do this work. We get to do this work. We will do this work because our students are depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things, all the things, all the things.
Oh my God, shut up.
Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA, to preserve our democracy. We must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA.
Okay, stop
And
it.
that's
Stop it.
what we do.
Stop it.
Thank you, NEA.
Frequent visitor to the White House.
Well, you know
Becky-
what that is.
Becky Pringle. I hold you, Becky Pringle, in large part responsible for the failure of the academy in this country. If you go on to listen to her remarks or read the account of her speech, you discover that all she's interested in is DEI. She wants equity in the classroom. And this, she threatens meritocracy. She has held black children back, and that's her business. That's her industry. If black kids started excelling in school, she'd be out of a job. It's that simple. If black kids excelled in school, which they entirely should, she's out of a job, and so are the rest of these phonies that line up behind her. This is absolutely ridiculous. She is a power-hungry, egomaniacal fruitcake who has ruined the lives of children, or helping. She's among the cabal that is ruining the lives of children of color in this country by making them less than. And if they weren't less than, in her mind, she wouldn't have a job. She wouldn't have a paycheck. She wouldn't have entree to the Oval Office. She wouldn't have any of this, and she shouldn't have any of this. Nobody should, because there's not a reason in the world except these selfish creeps keeping black children at bay and sitting on them and demanding everything. They demand everything except that the kids actually learn what they should be learning. Amen.
Amen to that, brother.
We know a couple of school teachers, and I think we can agree those school teachers aren't getting paid a whole hell of a lot of money. Rebecca, on the other hand, in 22-23, made $495,787.
Yep.